Okay. We should be live. Sweet. As usual, gonna give everyone a minute to come in. And I am terrible at, these moments early on when I'm like, hey, I'm here. Yeah. Maybe I should edit these out in the beginning. Okay, then. I guess we'll just let it rock now. Let's go. A bright future. Surely we'll reach it. Morning. No, afternoon? Master! Ah, good morning. Good morning. Oh, come on, put a little more oomph into it. Same Giselle as always. I must say, last night was something, Master. I don't know, you had that in you, and just thinking about it. Ow! Hey, that hurt. What was that for? I was struck with an insatiable urge to whack you. Whatever happened to your heartfelt desire to do whatever you can for me? I don't think hitting me counts. You're tough enough to get over a little bonk. You're being so nice, Esther. Where did that go? So would you like to explain why you're making dirty jokes first thing in the morning? Yeah, just... I was trying to lighten the mood to hide my embarrassment. Fair enough. Alright, but could you not joke about that in the future? I didn't actually do anything to you. No, you didn't. Sorry. Say, could I ask you something? Yeah? You hardly ever use my name. It makes us feel so distant. Could you do something about that? Maybe? I love our idiot son. Na, 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 na. Okay, sorry, I just had to handle one thing, and I am back. Babe? No. That is not you at all. Hey, Mosca, it is fun live stream, and you just Michelle. You just missed Michelle trying to give Giselle some sort of pet name, and babe. I love my idiot child. He's great. Just go with my name, please. We've graduated from master's relation to a romantic relationship, but that is a bit much. Romantic relationship. Exactly. So, in the honor of the new us, let's make this last. All right, Michelle. All right. At that time, the light that had entered our life seemed unreal and fantastical. But I prayed that it would indeed last. In hope of an equally bright future, I allowed myself to rejoice in the moment, letting the unconquered shadows that were lurked in my peripheral remain unseen. Blackness consumes the once colorful space. Giselle stands before me as she did within the door, but I struggle to reconcile the two scenes. They're both real. They are both her. The lively, spunky girl of the past and the lightless girl of the present are both Giselle. As different as they seem, they are both her. Why don't we stop here? It was a wonderful story. They overcame their troubles and lived happily ever after. Is that not good enough? It cannot be worse than where we are now. All we have to do then is erase the now. Throw everything away and start over from where it was better. You were able to bear them because they weren't your tragedies. And that goes for more than just me. Actually, as a matter of fact, those words apply even better to her than me. The ending is already set in stone. It's already happened. What point is there in watching it again? All that accomplishes is making me relive it all. The ending has not been written. We're both here now, which means our end still lies ahead of us. Then, can I ask you to promise not to let go of my hand, no matter what? No matter what happens, you mustn't let go of my hand. Now I understand. That was a request, even if she didn't perceive it as such. In place of a verbal response, I squeeze her hand in mine. I know where this tale is heading. Toward tragedy. All the other doors we visited ended in tragedy, and ours is no exception. But perhaps what's waiting at the end of this one is even more dire than I imagined. The door to our past swings open once more, behind which lies the end of me, and the beginning of her. A month had passed since the night with the rose. Right on schedule, the monthly delivery arrived, but in it was a letter that would dramatically change our lives. My father, Antonin, had fallen ill and died. I presumed it was the witch's doing, but she was silent, refusing to respond to my questions. If it wasn't her, then he must have died naturally. It seemed more than a little tasteless to celebrate someone's death, but good taste and reality don't always agree. I was extremely relieved to hear the news. The man had raped Giselle. He had tried to have me killed. And now he was gone from this world. I had been waiting for this moment for years. His passing had another effect as well. My death could be revoked. Many years ago, my brothers had told me when he succeeded her father, he would welcome me back into the Bollinger estate, and I could be part of the family once more, which meant this letter signaled the end of my banishment. Not sure how to feel about it. Yeah, rejoicing doesn't really seem appropriate. But this means you can return home now, right? In theory, my brother's set to take control of the state, so he should be accommodating. I'm going to write a letter, have them send us a carriage. It's much too long a distance to walk. Alright. I'm excited. What should we first do when we get back to the capital? Ooh, I know. How about you stop by my place? My mom and sister won't believe their eyes. My time in this mansion was almost at its end. The future I'd only vaguely envisioned was now within my reach. I'd always spoken of this moment, predicated with eventually, like it was some kind of unobtainable fantasy. But now that it was practically a reality, I realized I actually hadn't given it much thought. A lot of times we live convincing ourselves, we'll reach some point eventually where things work, where things are well, without ever really believing in it, because we need to tell ourselves that. I wonder what I'll do when I reach that point. Hey, are you still awake? I am. Not a great night for sleeping, huh? Are you thinking about your family? It all seems so surreal. Yeah, it does. This house is like a desert island, cut off from the world. Which makes everything feel kinda like a fairy tale sometimes. Even what we have. From time to time I get the feeling that nothing is real. That the outside world is just a figment of my imagination. That my entire life only ever existed within these walls. Are you nervous? Maybe I am. I always thought that when this day arrived, it would be more cathartic. I'm sorry, I'm finally able to take you back to the capital. And I can't seem to get past my own negativity. It's only natural to be nervous. I am too. I haven't spent nearly as long as you living in this mansion, but I know how you feel, because I feel the same way. Not knowing what the future holds, it's scary. You know, I was thinking, I'd be okay with staying. I mean, I would love to return to the capital, and I miss my family dearly. But even if I never get to see them again, in no way would I consider myself unhappy. I honestly think I've got a pretty wonderful life. If you're not comfortable going back to that house, I'm just saying you're do it for me, Giselle. There are other paths we can take. You can live with your family, or you can remain here in the mansion. Not at all, no, I want to. No matter where I go, you'll be there with me, Michelle. It's true, I am nervous not knowing what the future holds. But not in a scared something bad might happen kind of way. It's more of a jittery, excited anxiousness. I'm confident the two of us can overcome anything, no matter what obstacles may come our way. Together we can create an even more wonderful future. Don't worry, Michelle. The future's nothing to be afraid of. You make it sound like I'm paralyzed with fear. But you are, aren't you? Hey now, don't give me that look. Once again, she's the one pushing me forward. I will make sure you have a good, happy life. Thank you. What? Nothing. I'm feeling kind of sentimental thinking about how we've only got a little time left here. It wasn't perfect, but it was an important part of my life. Indeed. Say, yes. Well, I think I could handle it right now, probably. It? Oh, use your head, you little... I don't follow. How can you be so dense? I mean, you know, touching and so forth. You know, take the next step. I'm saying I'm feeling up for that right now. It's not proper for a woman to bring up the subject, is it? But I did ask you to wait, and I feel bad at leading you on for so. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're shaking. I'm just really emotional, that's all. You don't need to force yourself if you're not ready. I can wait as long as you need. Besides? Never mind. It's fine, there's no need to rush things. You don't need to worry. Even still, after everything, Michel isn't able to open up about his issues at all yet. He still can't believe in Giselle for some reason. I wrote 2 letters, one to my brother and one to my mother. One so Giselle could return, and one so I could be myself. To demonstrate who I was, I had to prove that I was not cursed. For failing to do that would not only bring her grief, it might become the final crack in the identity I had built up for myself. I had to convince her that I was neither demon nor angel, but a human man who had fallen in love with a human woman. However, I was too foolish to realize that the future I envisioned was nothing but a fantasy. Had I been able to grasp that, then maybe I could have taken her somewhere far away, where no one knew who we were, where things might have turned out differently. It's been really foggy out lately. I'd rather if we left when it was clear. It'd be terrible if the coachman rolled the carriage because he couldn't see where we were going. If there wasn't so much fog, I'd probably have been able to see little columns of orange evening sunlight fighting their way through the trees. But the milky white mist seemed to swallow up all light, leaving nothing for the surrounding area. It was a rather dreary weather. I wonder when they'll be here. Although, if they never do show up, that's okay too. I was finally able to return to the capital with Michel, to see my family again, and that was wonderful. It was like a dream come true. But it wouldn't disappoint me if that didn't end up happening. I didn't care where I ended up, as long as Michel was there with me. That's all that matters. I should probably close the windows. The coach isn't likely to show up at night, I don't think. I reached my hands out to shut a window, which is when I saw something wavering beyond the heavy mist. Light? And it wasn't just one. Looking closer revealed several more flickering spots. They moved up and down slowly but rhythmically, and more came into view. My mind began seeing them as people carrying torches. They're coming this way? Could they be our escorts back to the capital? Though, what? As soon as the thought their sure a lot popped into my head, something whizzed past my cheek. What was... Why, what? It was an arrow. Giselle! What? The arrow had flown through the window and pierced the opposite wall. And Michel knocked me out the way. Giselle, are you okay? I'm fine. But what? What's going on? Never mind that, right now we need to run. Wait, Michel! Now, there's no time to talk. Stay out of sight of the windows. Got it. He grabbed my hand and broke into a run. A relentless storm of hours showered through the windows we had worked so hard to get open a year ago. This isn't what we had gone through all that effort for. Once I opened the front door, run. We have to get as far from this house as quickly as we can. What was happening? Why did we have to run? Why were those people firing arrows at us? With a wave of questions came a wave of fear. I couldn't say anything. The sheer terror had frozen my jaw in place. Get ready. I nodded, squeezing his hand tight. I knew it would just be another obstacle to his safe escape, but I didn't want to let go of his hand. I was afraid that if I did, I would never be able to hold it again. Truly a bright future. Are you alright? I'm fine, but how? There are people out front too. Damn it, why? Several arrows were sticking out the floor before us. Beyond the door, which Michel had managed to shut almost immediately, ran a cacophony of whoosh, thump, whoosh, thump. We can't escape. Why? What's going on? Damn it! With a deep scowl, Michel barred the door, and all the while the arrows kept flying. The panic in the air kept growing thicker. I don't understand. How did they... Only a handful of people even know about this place. This is all my fault. It's because I told the villagers about this place. They think a demon lives here, not a human. So they're here to tear down the house. They made weapons, bows just for this. I don't... There was a deep rumble and the ground below us shook. I almost fell to the floor. They're trying to break down the door, it seems. Michel, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. Because of what I did. No. What? It's not your fault, it's mine. Michel, I challenged her because I did. She made my curse real. What are you talking about, Michel? This way, run. Michel dragged me through the mansion's corridors until we reached the chamber with the stained glass window. At the far end of the room sat a small door. Where does it lead? I'd been aware of this door's presence, but I had never gone inside it. Something about it seemed somewhat different than the rest of the house. I wasn't sure how to describe it exactly, but it felt like shadows had taken root here. The observation tower. A tower, but if we go up there, we're putting ourselves in a corner. It doesn't matter where we go, they have us trapped. But there's a chance that up here. He didn't finish that thought, however. He opened the door leading me to the tower. His face deathly pale. That music. We started running again, around and around the spiral staircase, making our way toward the top. In regular intervals along the wall were rectangular windows. A layer of fog still lay thick across the land. Peering out into it made me feel like we were thrown into a dream world. If it weren't for the orange spots of torchlight surrounding the mansion, the silhouettes holding the torches. Is that armor? Appeared to be knights. Michel, tell me, why do you think this is your fault? What is your curse? Your curse? It isn't just the color of your hair and eyes, is it? There's more to it, isn't there? There's something else, isn't there? Michel's gaze was firmly directed forward as he frantically led me up the stairs. We were breathing hard and the sound of it echoed against the tower's stone walls. Our panicked hearts were beating so hard. I was afraid they might be able to hear it outside. Eventually, we made it to the top. A pile of discarded rope lay unceremoniously at the front of the door, presumably once used to seal it shut. The door itself was deeply weathered and rotting in places. It had obviously been left in sitting in disrepair, even longer than Michel had lived here. What is this? Inside! Frigid air nipped at my skin, and it wasn't pleasant, refreshing kind of cool, but a bitter, oppressive cold. This room felt unlike any other in the mansion. This is an observation tower, you can't even... There once would have been windows allowing you to see in all directions around the mansion, but all that remains now is that tiny opening near the ceiling. If we hid out here, then there's a chance they might not find us. It sounds like they broke down the door. Don't worry, they won't find us. And when they give up their search, then we can get out of here. I'm sure it will all turn out all right. Michel's voice was quivering, as was his hand in mine. Michel. We huddled together, feeling each other's warmth in our arms. My free hand clenched his shirt for dear life. I'm sorry. What? I'm to blame for this. It's my fault you're in this mess. The pain you had to experience to being sent to this place can all be traced back to my being born. I'm so sorry. Why was he apologizing? Why did he insist that this was his fault? Why wouldn't he tell me what his curse was? Why were people trying to kill us? Right, those people were trying to kill us. Putting into words like that made the fear that much more real. The arrows they fired weren't threats. They meant to kill us. Michel. And with Michel trembling in my arms, I couldn't bring myself to ask those questions. What meaning would those answers even have with death lurking so close behind us? All I could do was pray. Pray that he was right, that they wouldn't find us and we'd be able to escape. However... Over here, there's the door. The stairs leading up. My hopes were shattered by the sound of voices from below. I could hear a faint clanking of armor. Our grips on each other tightened, and our trembling intensified. Fear swelled within the tower, making us its slaves. Giselle. We were both terrified, and who wouldn't be? Fairy tale heroes could be magically courageous in the face of overwhelming danger, but they weren't real. The fear of my impending death, drawing nearer and nearer with each passing moment, almost drove me to madness. I couldn't think clearly. My heart was having trouble keeping up. My head was a big white mess. We were supposed to return to the capital, start a new life, finally obtaining our happiness. It was right there, at our fingertips. Enough happiness to make up for Michel's 10 years of isolation. and enough to erase that nightmare from my memory forever. What had we done to have that taken away from us? We just loved each other and wanted a quiet life together, nothing outrageous. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. But what scared me the most was being separated from Michel. Hey, Michel, what are those people really doing here? If what they're after is money or valuables, we can offer them everything in the mansion. We don't need any of it. If they don't want us to return to the capital, we can tell them we'll stay here. They might be willing to talk it over. I don't care if I lose everything else. As long as I have you, I can survive anywhere. All that mattered was that we had our lives. So as long as the two of us still breathed. But death! Death to the unholy one. Death to the heretic. Death to the witch! Despair hung over us like the fog outside. There were no heretics, no witches, and no unholy ones here. But they would probably never listen to us. The moment we stepped outside of this room, we would be dead no matter what we said. Michel, I'm all right. It's okay, Michel. I'm not scared. You're here with me after all. It's fine, it's all fine. So please hold me until it's all over. Please stay with me. Finally, you speak. Michel. He wasn't looking at me, though. His unfocused eyes were directed upward, not toward any particular point, but wandering aimlessly. His purplish lips appeared to move, as though he was speaking, but no sound came out. Hey, Michel, are you alright? Come back to me, Michel. I grabbed him by the shoulders and shook. But he didn't even seem to notice. No matter how many times I called to him, he didn't look down from the emptiness above. Michel! Giselle. Finally, after far too long, his gaze slid down to meet mine. He looked defeated, exhausted, and cornered all at once. I was scared too, but his fear seemed to have consumed him entirely. Please hear me out, Michel. Giselle, I never thought anything good would become of my life. I never thought I would find anyone who truly understood me, who would be happy to have my love. And for that I hated the world. I was in constant torment living in the shadows. But then a single ray of light showed down upon me. Michel, you, Giselle, you delivered me from that darkness. I'm scared, Giselle, I'm terrified. I used to think my life was meaningless, that it didn't matter if I lived or died. But now I can't stop shaking. That's perfectly normal. I'm scared to death too, but what scares me most is losing you. Michel, I should have noticed. Noticed his arms were tensing up. Noticed and stopped him. So please allow me to repay you. I said I would do anything for you, so let me do this. I haven't given you everything. I haven't done anything for you. So give me one final chance. Michel! What are you doing? Why the door? I can't open it. I shoved on the door, trying to go after him. But it wouldn't budge even the slightest bit. It was as though there had never been a door there at all, merely a wall disguised as one. It wasn't something to hold it from shoving the other side either, and I pulled with all my might, but I couldn't even manage to eke out the tiniest crack. Michel, what did you do to the door? Come on, get back in here! I don't want to lose you either. Say something, Michel, you're out of there, aren't you? Please don't do anything rash. They're going to kill you if you're out there. Giselle, the witch told me. What? That she would ensure your safety. Michel, she isn't real. There's no witch talking to you. It's all in your head. The figment of your imagination created to leave you to your loneliness. Rest assured, she does not lie. Michel! Please listen. You are a wonderful woman, Giselle. Spirited, true to yourself, deeply sympathetic. You're not to blame for how difficult your life has been. Most of the fault lies with me and a bit of bad fortune. But that's all behind you now. Once this is over, you can start anew. What are you talking about? So survive, live a good, fulfilling life. Move past this, live your life, and always love your family. I know you can do it. That is my wish for you. No, I don't want that. I want to be with you. No one else but you. I don't want to let you die. There it is. Death to the heretic. Death to the heretic. Death to the heretic. Get back in here, Michelle. Open the door. If my choice to live on without you, I'd rather. Your scars will heal. You'll find a nice man and have a wonderful family. What? Thank you, Giselle, for bringing light to my world. Don't say that. But if there is a next life, I hope you don't mind if I pray that we're able to meet again. That we can find each other once more in another world. Michelle! Michelle. It is our holy duty as knights of the church to deliver punishment onto the heathen who made pact with the devil. Come on, Michelle, open the door. You are sentenced to death, your body to be hanged upon the cross for 3 days and 3 nights, wherein your unholy flesh shall be purified by the fires of heaven. Why? What are you doing here? Open the door, Michelle, please. Listen to me, you can hear me out there, can't you? You shall now be executed. Do you have any final words? Who is it that you're sentencing to death? Michelle Bollinger, or a demon child natural? Or a witch, perhaps? Please open the door. Why won't you open it? He isn't unholy or impure. He's a perfectly normal human and a very sweet witch. I'm the witch. I'm the witch. The witch isn't here. I'm the one you want to execute. Kill me. Execute me. How I see, Giselle. This world. Kill him! So many blades pierce my flesh. A sword in my chest, lances in my arms, sigils, arrows in both of my legs. I could hardly even tell what hurt anymore. There was an unpleasant sound in the tower, almost like a heavy rain. It was the sound of my blood spilling onto the stone. Red. It was red just like anyone else's blood. It didn't flow into unnatural patterns. It didn't turn into black demonic shadows. It didn't cause anyone who touched it harm. It was just ordinary red blood. Regardless, this body was probably still cursed. It had to be. I couldn't hear Giselle's voice anymore. I hoped she was safe and alive. I prayed that at least she would be protected, that the witch would keep her promise. It was getting dark. Light was quickly departing from my world. Darkness everlasting, dragging me down into its pits. I believe in you. Michelle, say something, talk to me. Hey, what's going on? What's going on here? No, this can't be happening. An impossibly heavy thud came from beyond the door, and with it, Michelle fell silent. Then intermittent squelching sounds as something slid down the door. No, this can't be. Why? Why? I pounded on the door with all my strength, but it refused to give. The skin of my hands eventually going raw and beginning to see blood. Why? Why should Michelle have to be killed? Tell me why. Take me with you. Please don't leave me behind. That man isn't a witch. He isn't cursed. I'm cursed, not him. So don't hang him, don't humiliate him like that. Kill me instead. Please. Again and again and again I pounded the door. But the self-described knights on the other side seemed to not even be aware of my presence. They seemed unable to hear my cries. Their armor clanking with each step, they began to descend the staircase. And with it I could hear sounds of something being dragged slowly across the floor. No, don't take him away. Stop, don't take Michelle away from me. I'm begging you. But my pleas were in vain. My hope was for naught. The knights took him away. Took him away somewhere out of my reach. For all eternity. Don't take him away from me! Michelle. After much, much too long, the door swung open all on its own. It happened so unceremoniously, it was hard to believe I had actually been trapped inside. I had no idea how much time had passed, but the chill in the air suggested it was deep into the night. And with the biting cold, there was the stench of blood. Why? Why? Michelle, I never wanted this. You didn't understand at all, Michelle. You didn't know the depths of my feelings for you. You didn't know how intensely I wanted you, how fervently I loved you. I was never going to be able to find someone else and live happily with them. It had to be you. The thought of anyone else touching me terrified me. You just didn't understand. I don't want to live in this stupid world. The time I spent with you truly was the happiest time of my life. The bright future they had been hoping for. I'm sorry if I can't do these scenes that justice, but you know. Just gonna take a moment. If there's anything you guys want to say, feel free to say it. I'm fine with just talking about this with you guys, because you know. Thank you, Mosca. I remember everything now. You died on that day. You were killed. You disappeared from the world and left me behind. That's right. I remember. I remember the pain, the agony of death, and the fear. I did indeed die that day. You refused to listen to me. Do you have any idea how it felt? To feel you dying from the other side of that door? Giselle, I wanted you to take me with you. Is that what you wanted to see? My memories, the trace of my life on this earth. And there. In order to find your truth, we need more of the story. Very well then. If you want more of the story, I will tell you more. What comes next is both a continuation and a brand new tale. The Maid's Tale. When you've heard it all, I expect you to commend me for not forgetting how to smile. We haven't completely cut through the darkness yet. An Arctic wind blows past me, and at the same time I'm gripped with an overwhelming urge to break down into tears. Perhaps this is the solitude she felt for so long. I have to face this. I have a responsibility to her to do so, and I have to atone for being such a misguided fool all those many years ago, convinced that I was doing what was best. The sixth door. $10.99 to redacted. This is my tale, and the maid's tale. A tale of a foolish, naive girl. Looking back on it now, I'm ashamed of everything. But I will tell you my story in its entirety, without embellishments. I ask that you please not let go of my hand. The only thing the nights left behind were a garment and a large pool of your blood. Blood had seeped into the fabric and it was beginning to dry. When I clenched it in my hand, It made a soft crackling sound. The oppressive scent of death lingered in the tower. Michel, there's no point in a life without you. You know that, right? Have a wonderful family. You know I can't do that. Hey, Michel, answer me. Come back to me. I don't care if it's as a ghost. I just need you here with me. Come back to me. Talk to me about nothing and about everything. Be irritating when I do something stupid. Scoff at me whenever I tell a bad joke. Trounce me in chess again. Put your arms around me one more time. Come on. I'm begging you. If you won't come back to me, then I'll go to you. I don't care if that's not what you wanted from me. This world without you is meaningless. Dying won't guarantee you'll get to see him again. He spends all this time refusing to talk to me, and then when he finally does, he begs me to save his love. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Rather disappointed, to be honest. Who are you? Where are you? Oh, quite daft, aren't you? Within these walls, I'm everywhere. And you've heard of me before. Butterflies, huh? What? I have no... Heavens, you are slow. Is that pretty head of yours only for decoration? Well, but no, there's no one else. You might be thicker than these walls, my dear. Although I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. You never did believe anything Michel said about me. You thought he was going mad. This is brilliant. No, there's no way. It can't be. The cursed witch, Morgana? Oh, you even know my name, do you? It would appear my legend has survived longer than I expected. I suppose I should thank all the humans who passed it down for me. You actually exist. I most certainly do, my dear. As I recall, you don't believe in the supernatural, do you? But it's hard to deny when that very witch is talking to you right this moment. Michel was not even slightly mad, my dear. I told him he was better off without his sanity, but he refused to listen. He wasn't deranged, his surroundings were. His environment, the people around him, his whole world. Can you imagine how dreadful that must have been? To be the only sane resident in a world gone utterly mad. It's a miracle he managed to keep his head. Remember what you said just before he died, my dear? You said it was all in his head. You said he couldn't tell the difference between illusion and reality. You said he had long since gone insane. You shouted at the top of your lungs. No, that's not what I meant. Ah, poor Michel. If only you had believed him about the witch. I feel bad for you too, though. You have my pity. What did you ever do to deserve this? Oh, and just to be perfectly clear, I played no part in either of you or Michel's misfortunes. The only force to blame for that is fate. You were good, honest, joyful, lovable woman. And look at how the world treated you. May I ask you something? Was it you who sealed me in the tower? Yes, it was. That was what Michel wanted. Once I told him I would grant his wish. So I did as he asked. It looks like that ended up causing you even more pain. How tragic. So, you're planning to die? Are you hoping to reunite with him in heaven? That plan's destined to fail from the outset, my dear. God teaches that suicide is a sin and you go to hell for it. Then, I will not kill you. Why not? Because I swore to Michel that I would save your life. Poor Giselle. If you have any other wish, I'll be happy to grant it. I can't bear to see you so miserable. A wish. You have but a single desire right now. To see him once more. Isn't that right, Giselle? Are you saying you can make that happen? You can bring him back to life for me? The borders of life and death are outside of my realm. That is God's territory, or the angels. However, I can guarantee you this. His reincarnation, no, his reconstruction. His reconstruction? Yes, you can meet him again. Not in this life, but in some future life. Just imagine it. Finding your beloved again after overcoming so much tragedy. 10, 20, maybe 100 longer years from now, you're finally reunited. Doesn't that sound marvelous? True unparalleled love in its purest form? What do you think? Just because you can bring his soul back doesn't make it Michel. I want to be with him, that brusque, impenetrable, slightly immature, but gentle as a butterfly man. The man who sincerely, deeply loved me. If it's the same soul in a different body, can you still call him my Michel? My apologies. You beat me to the punchline. And you did so with such ardor you threw me off balance. You're exactly right. The idea that if your love is strong enough that you can both be reborn and have exactly the same relationship. It's utter fairy tale nonsense. You must be the same people to have the same love. Which is, I'm not promising his rebirth or his reincarnation, but his reconstruction. Your wish can become reality, Giselle. As long as you wish for it with all your heart, it can come true. The only times they can be the people they loved and together and have the relationship that is theirs is in part sadly due to all the suffering they experience. In that way, a reconstruction of Michel is kind of cruel. I'll wish for his reconstruction as well. You'll have a witch asking to make this happen, my dear, so you can be confident that will bear fruit. And you wish for him to remain himself. If he truly loves you, and he too wishes to reunite with you, your wish shall be granted. Will you really wish with me? I most certainly will, my poor, pitiful, dear Giselle. I shall offer up my most heartfelt prayers for you. I'll wish for it. Until the moment of my death, I'll keep wishing for us to be reunited as the same people. I can't guarantee your reconstruction, though. What? I only said I guaranteed his. Michel's is the only reconstruction I will wish for. I will not ask for yours. Why not? You're not looking at a benevolent wish-granting goddess or an angel with a magic bow and arrow. You're looking at a cursed witch. Then how am I to be with him again? I can offer you one option that will allow you to be united with your reconstructed Michel. Tell me, what do I have to do? You must live. Here, with me. Live with you? What do you mean? It was Michel who resurrected me, but he could not serve as my guide. I have work to do, but I cannot do it alone. I need a guide to assist me, because as you see, I have no body. If this house did not exist in this world, then perhaps I might be able to give myself form, my soul's form. I don't understand anything you're saying. You don't need to understand. All I need from you is for you to show your utmost hospitality to the people I'm expecting to show up at this mansion someday. Entertain your guests? That's right, my dear. Michel isn't the only one whose reconstruction I'm wishing for. There are others. Several heinous sinners. So I want you to serve as a maid and watch over them when they arrive. And until then, keeping the house in a good condition. What are you scheming? Is that something you truly need to know, my dear? All you need to do is wish. Pray for the day your beloved appears before you again. For the day he wraps his arms around you once more. One word, Giselle. That's all I require. Do you want to see him again? Do you want to hear his voice again? I can promise you you'll have your happiness back. What reason is there to hesitate? There isn't one. Or are you simply going to give up? I wonder what would happen if you said no. If you disappear from this world. How will Michel react when he comes back? Will he be sad, angry, or will he forget about you? And fall into the arms of another woman? No, you can't. Then make up your mind. Will you come with me or will you throw it all away? If I had given it a little thought, I would realize she was manipulating me. that she was just telling me what I wanted to hear. But I believed her. I accepted her proposition. As unbelievable as it sounded, my desire for it to be real overpowered everything. It was impossible not to grasp the straw she was dangling in front of me. That was all I could do at the time. The witch's voice also had an inexplicable power to it. It made me believe, as outrageous as it was, that she could really bring you back, reconstruct you. Maybe because I'd seen her turn a door into an unmovable wall, or maybe because I'd heard her disembodied voice. But I don't think those are enough to explain it. My guess is she had me under her spell. That was the moment I began the name. But I assure you I was at that point still the same Giselle you knew and loved. The sound of rain never seems to stop. Am I hallucinating it maybe? For the moment I lent my ear to the witch's sweet temptations, the mansion underwent an unimaginable transformation. No light shone through the windows despite them still being unobstructed, not morning, day, or evening. In fact, the concepts of morning, day, and evening did not seem to exist. The darkness resembles that of when the windows had all been sealed off, but there's something more fundamentally unreal about it. Like it was hovering over a vast, all-consuming abyss within a constant haze of malice. I felt like I'd been cast into some unknown realm, and that was why there was nothing beyond the windows. And the house was not the only thing that underwent changes. I too was no exception. How so, Mosca? Being trapped in your house? Yep. In the blink of an eye, all my basic human urges vanished. I stopped feeling hungry and I no longer needed to sleep. Naturally, I was bewildered by what happened to me and what I was turning into. I think I'll take a look around. Maybe there have been other changes. Yeah, that's true, Mosca. So I meandered through the mansion's halls. My original intent was to explore the entire house, but I found myself drawn toward one room in particular. That's right, your bed chamber. There's no light, not a trace of color remaining in your chambers. But the bed was the same shape, the walls the same texture, the curtains the same designs as when you had been alive. Michel, I'm praying, I'm always praying, that someday we'll meet again. Oh, there's something hidden under the bed. What could it be? It's that painting. I never did get to ask why he got so angry about me seeing this. I'm sure it's something he didn't want to be reminded of. Perhaps having to do with his family. I was right not pressing him about it, but... What? What the? Did the painting just smirk at me? Oh god. Jeez. What were you doing tripping over yourself? It's just that a cursed witch messing with your head. No need to get spooked over a tasteless prank. When I stumbled, I guess I knocked a drawer open. There's something inside. Letters, it looks like. I shouldn't touch these. They're not mine. But I want something in Michel's to have. Something to remember him by. His letters would be in his handwriting. They would contain his words. Please forgive me, Michel. I don't mean you any ill will, but I'm going to take these. I must say they're impressive numbers. What on earth? It's like someone dumped an inkwell on every page, but why? Was this the witch's doing too? Yeah, it has to be. It must have been her. It definitely wasn't you, Michel, was it? Na, 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 na. The front door. I wonder what it's like outside. Can't get it open. What's going on? The bar isn't set, but it won't budge an inch. It's just like up in the tower. I know the windows. They should open, then I can... What's going on here? What the heck is going on? It's like there's an invisible wall in front of the window. My hand won't go any further. This is rich. What else can I do but laugh? What in the world? This is madness. Hurry up, Michelle. Return to me and get me out of here. Please get me out of here. I had no idea how to explain anything that happened to the mansion, but it was clear enough that I was imprisoned within its walls. I was all alone in a nebulous sphere of bleak darkness, and beyond its walls lay void. The layout of the house remained unchanged. I could cry, but there was no one there to soothe me. All it did was provoke her disembodied cackling, which she followed with, "You chose this, my dear, so you need to hold yourself together and keep wishing." My only real pastime was cleaning. I dusted the same corners again and again, swept the same floors and polished the same dishes. One day I decided to read the books left in the library. Despite being more than 100 volumes, I finished every one of them in what felt like no time at all. My life was a never-ending cycle. Day in, day out. Day in, day out. The house had no visitors. No one. Rather, nothing at all set foot upon the property. This is unbelievably bleak and sad. Just an eternity of like loneliness and nothing, and just people just aren't built to live like this. No birds singing in the morning, no cats sunbathing in the garden, no mice skirting about the kitchen. No creepy crawly insects. There was nothing. Nothing at all. The only thing that broke the long stretches of silence was her voice. Tell me, was she kind to you? Was she friendly and courteous? Because she was quite harsh when she spoke to me. These were the kind of things she was always saying to me. He didn't show up today, did he, my dear? Are you still praying, my dear? Oh, do you think he'll actually come, my dear? Oh, I'm still wishing, just like I promised, my dear. You know why he hasn't come for you, my dear? Because perhaps he doesn't actually love you as much as you thought. My dear. My dear. My dear, dear Giselle. Have you lost your mind yet? Shut up! I've had enough of you. I'm done with you. Enough, please, enough already. Oh, what's got you so worked up? You love to talk, don't you? So why not have a nice little chat with me? This is not a chat. Maybe not in your mind, my dear. You seem to think chatting only constitutes conversations you enjoy. But I think the word's usage needs to be so restricted, personally. You're just getting off on watching me squirm. Oh, not at all. You'll have all my best wishes if he ever does show up for you. Ooh, so scary. If you're making that face when he shows up. He may not even recognize you. What? You haven't looked in the mirror recently, have you? Go on then, my dear. See how frightful you've become. No. The witch was right, I looked nightmarish. My face was pale and lifeless, my eyes hollow, my cheeks sunken, heavy bags beneath my eyes. My hair had lost its sheen and it grew wildly. I was quickly losing everything that made me recognizable as me. And the thought sent a shiver down my spine. No, this isn't me. This is some kind of trick. You're trying to deceive me. Baseless accusations. You really must stop blaming people every time something doesn't turn out the way you want, my dear. But, my face was more what? More expressive, more cheerful, brighter, rosier. You're right, you were never there this gloomy, were you? Right, I wasn't. I was always more cheerful than this. Naive girl, could you be any more narcissistic? Huh? What you're looking at is undeniably exactly what you look like now. Time did not do that to you, nor did I. The negative energy oozing from within you is causing you to take this form. Do you think you didn't have any dark, ugly emotions inside you? Did you believe you'd always be able to smile no matter what? Did you assume you were pure and beautiful? No one like that exists, my dear. What you see in the mirror is the true you, your hideous, twisted heart. If you weren't always being so nasty, this would have never happened. Anyone's heart would be twisted listening to you for so long. So you're saying Michel's heart was twisted too? I spoke to him for years. No. I'm just teasing. I suppose I may have crossed the line there. I mean you no ill will, Giselle. Honest. Allow me to give you one word of advice, though. Look at yourself in the mirror often. If you continue deteriorating at this rate, and end up looking like a corpse, when Michel comes and sees you, he won't jump for joy, but run away screaming in terror. Stop talking. Please just stop. You know, Giselle, this is only the very beginning. He might not show up for hundreds of years. I can't live that long. Absolutely brilliant. You still think you're alive. What? The moment you agreed to come with me, you cease to be of this world. So don't worry about time, my dear. You can wait as long as it takes. As long as it takes for him to arrive. As the witch had suggested, I started checking my appearance in the mirror every day. I wanted to ensure I didn't turn into some horrifying creature. My hair grew, so time seemed to be passing, but I didn't appear to age at all. The flow of time had become perplexingly vague and uncertain. Was it stopped or was it moving? I couldn't tell. On occasion, I would practice smiling in front of the mirror. My smile was, after all, my one distinctive feature. I was certain you had seen me smiling more than anything else. Even if my appearance had changed drastically, I thought, you would still be able to recognize me by my smile. A woman standing alone in front of a mirror practicing how to smile. I'm sure it was quite the comical sight. And that was about how my days went, for an incomprehensibly long time. Jesus Christ. For the first 100 years, I kept track of how much time had passed. An hour, a day, a month, a year, 10 years, 50. But once it had surpassed a person's average lifespan, the counting started driving me mad, and so I stopped. My sense of time began to numb. In place of sleep, I spent my days in a trance-like state. Doing so, I was less aware of the passage of time, which made it a little easier to bear. Suspended in this bubble of time, my mind went out to you. The next thing I lost sense of was myself. I lived as a human for 21 years, after spending nearly 10 times that trapped in the mansion. I began to feel like that was all I had ever been. That maybe my past was all just a construction of imagination. As an otherworldly being, I merely fantasized about being human. Had I actually had a family? Had there actually been other people in the world? Did cities and villages really exist? Was there ever really a time when light shone through the windows, when we were happy? But I knew if I started doubting everything, I wouldn't be able to maintain myself. Oh God, this is just Was there ever anyone else? Was there ever a single other person? Was there ever a time I was happy? Jesus Christ. I wouldn't be able to maintain myself, so I settled on believing one thing. That you, Michelle, were real. That you had been with me. That I had loved you. And that it was you I was waiting for. I try to always remember that one fact. My characteristic energy and cheer were disappearing. By then I hardly ever raised my voice anymore. In response to that change, the witch seemed to treat me a little nicer. On occasion I thought I could sense her presence nearby, like she might reveal her form to me beyond the darkness, instead of only speaking to me. I could feel her sitting beside me. Giselle, do you think you're still Giselle even now? I suppose it doesn't matter either way. Sometimes I think love and fanaticism are two sides of the same coin. What are you implying? Oh, nothing. I have an idea, though. Why don't we make you some new clothes, my dear? The loom should still work, thanks to you keeping everything in order. That outfit's an artifact of an age long past by now. You know how long it's been? Vaguely, but yes. As we speak, time still marches onward. Not too quickly, not too slowly, but at the same pace as your breathing. Now, on your feet, Giselle. We have plenty of time, so let's make you the perfect maid's outfit. If we don't have enough materials, we can make more thread from the sheets or curtains. How exciting! They were quite strange to behold. The old me might have been stricken with fascination by them, but at that point I wasn't even sure how to rejoice, how to be impressed, or how to be moved anymore. What year is that? Oh, it doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter where it is. As long as you're there, it can be anytime, anywhere. Where are you, Michelle? What are you doing? I'm still praying. I'm still wishing for you to appear before me. Forever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever. I've been praying for so long, I don't even know how long it's been. Before you left, you said you were going to pray too. You said you hoped we could meet again in another life. I'm not misremembering, am I? Michelle, come back to me soon. I love you so very much, but my memories of you are starting to fade. What did your voice sound like? What kind of faces did you make? Where did you like to put your hands on me? I don't want to forget. I want to always remember. My memories of you are the only things holding me together, but they're slipping away from me. How did you speak? What kind of things did you talk about? I'm losing all these memories. Please, Michelle, come back to me, before I forget everything. My beloved master. The thought crossed my mind that maybe Morgana's guarantee that you'd be reconstructed was just a lie to trick me into staying here. But I quickly discarded it, because if she had been lying, it would strip all meaning from my very existence. It would take me from my purpose for being here, so I didn't want to accept that possibility. I had no choice but to persevere in my belief that you would return. I had always thought that I would be alright, that my faith would never waver. I still believed in myself. But you can be the happiest, most optimistic, resolute person in the world, and you will still break eventually. And I was at the point where even the slightest tap would shatter me into fragments. Several hundred years after I was enslaved within the mansion, something changed for the very first time. Sunlight which I had not seen in all that time shone in from outside. At first I did not believe it was real. I thought it was a hallucination born of my inner desires, and I thought I must have completely lost it for my fantasies to escape my mind. Yep, everyone involved in their lives is already long gone. Everyone they loved, everyone they hated, everyone that did them wrong. But it didn't matter if it was all an illusion. The gentle breeze blowing in through the window felt wonderful. The smell of grass, the chirping of birds, the glistening blue sky. It was like 1,000 memories rushing back all at once, and it brought tears to my eyes. The time has come, Giselle. It's time for you to get to work. And she always did. The witch's voice crushed my elation, dragging me back to reality. Reveling in the sight of the outside, it's the last thing I should have been doing. For it was the moment that began my true decline. Work? What kind of work? Have you forgotten? Oh, good heavens, you have a head on straight, my dear. As I said, I need you to watch over the house, and show your utmost hospitality to those who show up. Is someone? This is merely an appetizer. It looks like someone's here. Hold on, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Do the same thing you have always been doing. Be a maid. Convince the house's guests that this is a wonderful place. Make them enjoy their stay. Now go on. I'm quite looking forward to this. The bar has been removed, but will the door open? For so long the door had refused to budge. For so long light had forsaken these halls. For so long there had been no trace of life. And now all of that had been turned on its head. I felt like I'd stepped into heaven on earth. I know it sounds so melodramatic, so please don't laugh. It was almost certainly a perfectly ordinary slice of nature. Leaves and grass rustled in the wind, flowers speckled the earth, and in the distance was a city I didn't recognize. I wondered where I was, of course, but I neither shouted nor jumped in surprise. Instead, I found myself accepting my circumstances, as unnatural as they might have been. I was standing there idly before the entrance. A carriage rolled up. Egad, could this road be any bloody worse? It's darn neat a paving on top of everything else. And who might you be, young lady? That outfit. He's speaking a different language. A middle-aged man approached me. From his attire and the way he held himself, he appeared to be upper class. However, the words coming out of his mouth were not in the language I had grown up speaking. Could the man have moved somewhere far, far away? Naturally, I had no idea how such a thing was possible. And the longer I stood there, staring at him absent-mindedly, the more incredulous he became. My immediate mission was to overcome the language barrier. Fortunately, I suppose I was able to understand bits and pieces of what he said. As merchants in the capital, my family did business from other countries, and as a result, I had learned a handful of words. The problem was it had been so long ago. I had no confidence whatsoever in my ability to hold a conversation. I'm a servant. Can't say I remember asking for a lady servant. But I suppose these things do happen. Doesn't matter much who they send. Who are you? You weren't informed? Bloody hell, I'll take great notice. Well, what can you do, I guess? Name's Hayden Rhodes. Just a retired old man. As I'm sure you have already guessed, this man was the Rhodes siblings' grandfather. He was also the first person I served under as the maid. It's very interesting that at this moment now, we're not just getting Giselle's story. We're getting stories of people related to the characters we saw in the previous doors. For a member of an esteemed noble family, Hayden was a bit on the eccentric side. He only hired a handful of servants, claiming he was not fond of clamor. There was a single chef, a physician, a servant who took care of all his cleaning, and then me, who served as his personal assistant. Whenever he got the chance, Hayden would chase me down and make me practice proper etiquette. According to him, I had much to learn. You are at least technically a servant of the Rhodes family, young lady, so can't have you go playing the country bumpkin act. Yes, sir. And we'll have to do something about that accent too while we're at it. I have an accent? Thicker than bloody molasses. Now I have no interest in sticking my nose into your business asking where you hail from. But while you're here, you must act the part, young man. Lucky for you, I'm retired and have all the time in the world. I'll teach you everything you need to know about proper etiquette. Alright. Speak up, will ya? Yes, sir. Hayden did not go easy on me either. In addition to my day-to-day duties, I studied etiquette, the language, proper pronunciation, and formal diction. Anytime I made the slightest mistake, he would shout his dissatisfaction. The witch's capabilities are incredibly vague, but they're very expansive considering how she was able to bring in more and more people for Bestia. How she's was able to guarantee the reconstruction of Michel and the reconstruction of 3 other heinous sinners. A servant is the face of the house. A servant's gaff is her master's gaff. Always keep this in mind, you are not just a maid. You must always act with elegance and grace. You must always maintain your composure, even if the house is falling down around you. Whatever happens, you deal with it quickly and quietly. Your language must be immaculate. No ums, uhs, or pauses, for any reason. Yes, sir. No stammering either. Sorry. Bloody hell, you're not going to make this easy, are you? Whose idea is that country bumpkin would make a good servant? I like to give him peace of my mind. I'm not from the country. Not even slightly. I was raised in the capital. Is that so, eh? A prim and proper city girl, are you? In that case, you should be a quick study. Absolutely. I can learn anything in a week, tops. Piece of cake. Is that so? Alright, then starting tomorrow, I'm tripling your lessons. I didn't think this through. In addition to being my master, Hayden was my teacher. When he yelled, he grew twice the size and shrunk half, and I shrunk half mine. But it wasn't all an unpleasant experience, because I knew he wasn't raising his voice to belittle me. His instructions may have been harsh, but it was a human interaction. There were people around that I could talk to, and that was wonderful. I was trying to regain some of my humanity. Unlike me, you still got a long life ahead of you, young lady. I don't know what kind of life you lived, but I can't imagine it's been all that easy. Not many servant girls your age without a home to go back to. Which is why you need to learn this. Once you got all the rules and customs down, you'll be able to hold your own at any noble's estate. You shouldn't have trouble keeping yourself employed. I'm sure you think I'm just a loud, obnoxious old man, but I believe we met for a reason, so I hope you'll stick with me. Don't think about you like that at all, Master. You're a remarkable man. One more time. I deeply appreciate your generous consideration, Master, from the bottom of my heart. Aye. I didn't know much about Hayden's situation, why he had retired to this mansion alone, away from the rest of his family. But anytime I asked about them, he would say, "It happens sometimes," with a melancholic frown. Before long, 2 years had passed. By that point, my etiquette had proved enough to satisfy his high standards. In that time, the mansion underwent a number of decor changes as Hayden brought in sculptors to work on different areas of the house. He also sealed off rooms that were not in use, such as the observation tower and the chapel. It was a sad thing, seeing years with so many memories from me falling into disuse, but as a mere servant, I had no say in the matter. In addition, Hayden seemed to greatly enjoy renovating the house, so I watched him warmly. The furniture was all gradually replaced, gorgeous paintings hung on the walls, colorful patterned curtains installed, and a brilliant rose garden planted. These roses come from all across the world. Nowhere else can you see so many different varieties in one place. It's beautiful. Did you know that in the city, people are starting to call this mansion Rose Manor? Rose Manor. And to think there used to be nothing but weeds here. Amazing how much has changed. I never thought I would see this garden turn into something so beautiful. And she planted that rose all the way at the start. Are you fond of roses, young lady? Yes, red ones especially. Red roses mean a great deal to me. They remind me of a time long past. Given one as a gift, were you? No, I believe I was the one who gave the rose. The red roses are a symbol of my feelings. They're very precious to me. I gave you a rose as a gift. You plucked it from its stem and placed it in my hair. Am I remembering correctly? My memories are so vague now. I can't even remember the look on your face that day. There are some kids I like to give roses myself. Who? My grandchildren. Oh my, you have grandchildren. Aye, though we haven't been in touch for some time. Last I saw them was 4 years ago, when my second child was born. The sweetest girl in the world, with lovely flaxen hair. She's going to be a real beauty when she grows up. Anyway, they're wonderful kids. And one day I want to hand this garden over to them. Each and every rose containing my hope that they'll lead comfortable, healthy lives free of strife. I'm sure your wish will come to pass. Your grandchildren will have wonderful lives. Aye. The grief of not having you around still weighed heavily in my mind, but I was slowly approaching contentedness. Life with Hayden was slow and uneventful, peaceful and relaxing. I imagined my heart was seeking anything to alleviate its pain, and I found that in a beautifully remodeled mansion, the garden blooming wildly with roses, and my time with Hayden. I was even beginning to think that this life was enough for me. That I'd be okay with this being the end, if it meant more of that tranquility I felt. I was like a coward, considered giving up the fight. Please do not forgive me for even considering such a thing. She still feels responsible after all of this. Hayden seemed to be in high spirits that day. A gift had apparently arrived from his son, who lived far away. And it was a tea set, some leaves, and a small jar of sugar. Miss. How can be a service, master? Brew me up a pot of this, would you? And be careful not to steep it for too long. You want to get it just right for the best flavor. As you wish, master. You seem quite pleased. Why should I be? A boy who shunned his old man for years sent him a paltry gift on a whim. I'm just entertaining his fancy. Your tea is ready, master. Ah, what a wonderful smell. Tea and roses are life's best dance spices. Now let's see what the boy chose for me. If it's no good, I'll be sure to write him an angry letter. He looks so happy. He must really love his family. That's a little bitter. Shall I brew another pot? No, it's not your fault. Must be something in the leaves. Would you like to add some sugar then? There was a small jar of it with the tea set. Now that's some bloody fine sugar he's procured. White as snow and sparkles on the light. He chose it just for you, master. Bloody hell, what demon possessed him? Alright, give me 2 spoons. Yes, master. Here you are. Ah, splendid. This is some exquisite tea. The sugar balances the bitterness of the leaves perfectly. I guess that boy does have some... Master? Master! The doctor, I need to find the doctor. Water, I'll get you some water right away. So please hang in there. Thanks to the quick treatment provided by his personal physician, Hayden survived. But he didn't make it out with much more than his life. He was permanently bedridden by the affair. Evidently, the sugar I'd put in his tea had contained poison, which had done irreparable damage to his nerves and muscles. Most of his body was completely immobile except for his left arm. Like, he doesn't understand how fucked it up is that, he's hoarding this fault. He could ensure her life and her well-being, give her so many more opportunities as well. But that's not what he's taught the proper way the world works. And he's begun to believe that. He's an ass for that, but he is trying to help her in a really shitty way. Also, there is something about him wanting to reconnect with his family and whatnot that a person can feel for. Also, apparently his son is an asshole enough to poison him, so there is that. Can I bring you something? Some water? I have had more than my fill of water. You don't need to wait on me hand in hand. That face says you need to distract yourself by working. Remember what I told you? A noble family servant must always act with elegance and grace. And you must always maintain your composure. But how can you expect me to remain composed? If I had only examined the sugar more thoroughly. You never would have noticed, young lady. I examined the sugar and didn't see a bloody thing wrong with it. He was damn crafty, that's for sure. Why would he do this? His inheritance, I presume. Something must have come up and he needed the money quickly. That's no reason to poison your own father. Blood is nothing but an obstacle to ambition. Or maybe he just hated me. How could anyone possibly hate you? Perhaps that could be said of me, you know? But when you live as long as I have, you're bound to make an enemy or two. Mine just happened to be my son. I was planning to give him everything anyway. He didn't have to do this. It all would have been his. Master? Killing me doesn't accomplish anything. But I guess it doesn't much matter. So I could ask you something, young lady. What can I do for you? I don't want to get out that Hayden Rose is poison, so could you tell people that I passed away peacefully with a beautiful nurse tending to my every need? You're not dead yet. Please don't talk like that. You're scaring me. No stammering. But what? I'm not saying it'll happen immediately, but I am an old man, and one day you'll wake up and I'll be gone. This is about my own pride, not my own son, not my son. Last thing I want is go with a black spot on my name. Tell me you'll do this, Giselle. He's never said my name before. As you wish. Thank you. You're a peculiar girl, you know. Sometimes you seem greener than the leaves in summer. Sometimes you seem like you've seen 12 kinds of hell. And every so often you seem not of this world. Your skin is pale, your hands as cold as ice. At one point I thought you might be death himself. But I was wrong about that. You have too big a heart to be death. You care too much. You must be carrying a very heavy cross on your back. What am I supposed to do? I don't want to lose you, Lord Hayden. I don't want to lose this life. You have someone, don't you, young lady? Someone you're dying to meet again. Yes, but I don't know how long I'm supposed to keep waiting. If something doesn't happen soon, I don't think I can hold myself together much longer. I was so close to breaking down. It was you who kept me on my feet. I'm sure you've tried to remain strong plenty of times. So I'll give you some different advice. A trick for when you're thinking of losing hold of yourself. Build a cocoon. A cocoon? A sturdy shell to keep your weak inner self safe. This world has no interest in protecting you, only swallowing you whole. So you mustn't readily expose your true self. You built a cocoon, and you play the role you need to play. That way the real you will remain unharmed. It's not pleasant to hide yourself like that, but it's better than letting the walls crush you. But a word of warning, if you spend too long in the cocoon, the real you is liable to disappear forever. You'll be swallowed up by your own protective shell. I hope you find whoever it is, before it's too late. Now I think I'll get some sleep. All this talking has worn me out. As you wish. Good night, Master. See you in the morning. See you in the morning, young lady. The next day, Hayden was dead. He had strangled himself with his left hand. I should have been more attentive. I should have recognized how much pain he was in, how much it crushed him to have been betrayed by his own family. I should have realized how he truly felt, how fragile he really was. I fell into a hopeless gloom. I could hardly believe that the quiet life I had finally attained had been shattered in the blink of an eye. Hayden's other servants quickly went their own ways. I vividly remembered the dirty looks they all gave me. Everyone who knew how he had died assumed I had done it. I had no reason to kill him, though. But they had more than enough to believe so, for I had been the last person to see him alive. And I had firmly the story he'd asked me to tell, while I was unable to convince the other servants. His family was far more accepting the story that he had departed for the next world happily. Though that did not make the truth any less heartbreaking, especially since I was the only one who knew it. Why does this always have to happen? I was happy, but I can never seem to keep hold of it for more than a flash. Despair always keeps marching in to rip it away. What am I doing here? What kind of person were you, Michelle? What kind of person was I? Oh my dear, you look positively miserable. Why should you despair at the death of some strange old geezer? Morgana, was Hayden one of those whom you wish to be reconstructed? I have no interest in that wrinkled bag of bones. And if he was one of them, do you really think I would have let him go so peacefully? Peaceful? You call that peaceful? You call his misery peaceful? I most certainly do. And since you do not seem to understand this, the pain of death lasts but an instant. The worst torture can only be inflicted upon the living. Setting two loved ones against another, manipulating one to taking the other's life, then forcing him to live with that. The stage hasn't even been set yet, my dear. And you would have me play a part in that. Indeed. You agreed to accompany me. You were here to be my guide. And you're doing a wonderful job of it so far. I haven't done anything. But you killed that old man, did you not? Thanks to you, my wish is one step closer to fruition. What? What do you mean I killed Hayden? You mean to claim you didn't? Tell me, who was it that put the poisoned sugar in his tea? No, I didn't mean to. Your intentions are irrelevant. Everything moves along the path forged by my wish, and you shall continue to follow it as well. You know what? I'm done feeling like this. I don't want anyone else to go through what Hayden did. And what are you going to do about it? I'm done listening to you. Without me, you have no influence over this world. Oh, so I'll die. I'll take my own life right here and now. I grabbed a nearby knife and held the tip against my breast. My hands were shaking, my heart pounding. My whole body was racked with terror, but I could have sworn I heard Morgana gasp. This was her one weakness, I thought. What are you thinking? Don't do this, Giselle. Don't be foolish. Put the knife down right now. I'm done. Giselle, put the knife down. I've missed you so very much, Michel. I wanted nothing more to see you again. But if being Morgana's guide is going to cause other people suffering, then I can't. It's all over, Morgana. Huh? There's no blood? Not even pain? What? Oh, come on. Absolutely brilliant. I told you not to be foolish, but you just wouldn't listen to me. Oh, such a silly girl. I really am. I couldn't even die if I wanted to. Learning that absolutely crushed me. My backup plan, the one escape route that I thought available to me, that I had clung to for all these years, had been ripped away. My spirit crumbled, and I felt myself sinking into a vast darkness. I began losing a grip on myself, which is when I recalled Hayden's advice. Built a cocoon. It was the only option I left, my final chance of protecting myself. Although ultimately I was successful at that endeavor, as you know. But at that point my mind and spirit had been all but lost. Eroded by years of solitude, the witch's whisper, the brief glimmers of happiness, and the eternal boundless dark it had left me in. It was in that moment that all light drained from my eyes. And it was in that moment that the maid was born. Oh! Everyone remember these characters from back when we started this visual novel? Oh, dearest Mel, come over here. There's so many beautiful flowers. Oh, now Nellie, there's no need to run. You're going to follow. You can't say I didn't warn you. Oh, hello. I've never seen you before. Are you the new maid? Good afternoon, Lady Nell. That's correct. It's an honor to serve you. Oh, did you do all this? I did not. This garden was your grandfather, Lord Hayden's one. Oh, wow. Is grandfather a wizard? Perhaps he was. I'm sure he would be delighted to know you like it. Did grandfather like flowers? Oh, yes. He loved them quite dearly. Wow, I love flowers too. I never seen a garden with so many of them, so many pretty flowers. Do you know this kind of flower is called a rose? Just like our name. Why, yes, they do sound alike. And like the flowers, you are also a very sweet little girl. Say, what's your favorite color of rose? I like all colors. But you don't like any the most? That's too bad. My favorite is pink. Pink roses are so pretty. Indeed they are. Ah, geez, there you are, Nellie. Oh, my apologies. Please don't mind my sister. Oh, not at all. We were having the most wonderful time. That's good. I imagine we'll be seeing each other around, so it's a pleasure. Dear Smell, let's see what's the inside's like. Mother says I have my very own room. Ah, slow down, Ellie. I beg your pardon. The inseparable siblings ran off toward the mansion, hand in hand. It was a heartwarming sight, but the next moment, when they stepped inside, I saw something else. The darkness enveloping the mansion seemed to flare up, opening a door to the gaping maw into its hungry bowels. The whole house looked like it was cackling. It was, I presume, the witch Morgana's madness taking form. A manifestation of how she felt now that her centuries in the making wish was bearing fruit. Those two children were the ones Morgana had been waiting for. Had I still had any willpower to fight left in me, I would have taken them by hands and sent them somewhere far away. I would have done something before the house swallowed them up. But instead I just gently lowered my eyes. Misfortune would surely sink its teeth into those children before long. Pain and misery would befall them. I knew no good lay ahead for them, but my heart had all but frozen solid. I had my hands full taking care of myself, so I let Hayden's beloved grandchildren fall into the witch's hands. I was, for all intents and purposes, Morgana's marionette. Ah, at long last it's arrived. The time I've been waiting for so long has arrived. Darling, devoted Giselle, I know not how to describe for you the fiery excitement burning within me. Oh, I know, I can tell you my story. Tell you exactly what the mild-mannered little boy once did. You'll be open to listening now, won't you, my dear? You'll surely understand I'm doing nothing wrong. Okay, bets, everyone. How much of you guys think Morgana probably did nothing wrong? Absolutely nothing wrong. Because you're my ally, my trusty servant. You and I, we live in the same world. We're close as family. Are we not? Yes, as you say. So let us curse them all of them. Let us inflict a pain worse than physical torture on them. Let us put their souls on the rack for all eternity. Curse them, make them suffer, curse them. Now listen carefully, Giselle. This is a tale of wicked men and my curse upon them. The bile overflowing from her words, the pure, unadulterated hatred brimming within consumed me more than the horrifying things they described. She was brutally honest, each word a carefully sharpened blade of animosity. How much bitterness did you have to carry inside you to become like her? I like Morgana a lot, so we're not doing this. We're not doing this, Mosca. How long did you have to feel nothing but hatred to become like her? I felt like if I let my guard down, I'd be consumed by her enmity. It would become mine, and I would grow to despise them myself. All the while I kept my mind on one single thing. That is what was left of my mind, locked away inside a shell of my own creation. It was the solitary truth that allowed me to hold on to my human emotions, to continue believing. I'm always waiting. My love will never fade. When I was still my old self, I called them master and would do anything for them. Michel. That was their name. They were beautiful. They had pearly white hair and ruby eyes. They are going to come for me. Michel, all I can remember about you is your name, your glossy white skin, and your fiery red eyes, your snow-colored hair. Nothing else. And that's why when I saw her that night dripping from the storm raging outside, I thought, you're finally here. Because I didn't remember enough to know any better. You already know who I speak of, don't you? The person who called upon Rose Manor that fated stormy night. The girl with translucently pale skin, chilling white hair, and eyes like jewels. Ah, what a beautiful girl. Her hair, her eyes, her porcelain skin. It all matches the person of my memories. She must be the one I've been waiting for. If she is. Is something the matter? No, I just thought I felt someone watching us. It's only your imagination, I'm sure. If not your imagination, then perhaps some unseen forces were watching you. Unseen force? Are you familiar with how people refer to this mansion? Rose Manor. Yes, indeed. It is called Rose Manor because you can smell the sweet fragrance of the rose garden even at great distance. But that's not what I meant. It is said that a witch resides within this house. A witch? I've not heard any such stories. You probably wouldn't have. It was a very long time ago. Nothing you need to concern yourself with. You have a peculiar presence about you. Should I consider that a compliment? A peculiar presence, she says. Does she sense something in me as I do her? This has to be her then. Her name, I need to ask her name. It's getting late, you should get some rest. A room has been set aside for you. But first, may I ask you one thing? Yes? I do not believe you've given me your name yet. My name is Michel. Ah, I knew it. You are the one. What? You're the one I've been waiting for. I've endured so much in anticipation of this moment. So that I could reunite with you. You came to this place to see me again, did you not? Held tight to those wonderful memories until you could make it back to me. I never gave up hope. I always believed, and I hope you'll praise me for that. And I ask you to please say my name. To please make me... Oh, I don't know anything about you. I'm sorry, you seem to be confusing me for someone. We have never met before now. You are Michel, are you not? That is my name, yes, but it's a fairly common name. Surely you've confused me with... That cannot be. That white hair, the white skin, those red eyes. And that name, the name of the Archangel. Everything about you is the same. How can you say you're not my Michel? Please, Michel, remember for me. Stay away from me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. You would reject me. I'm so sorry. I honestly don't know you. Do you care nothing anymore for the time we spent together? We have not spent any time together. You would deny everything. I'm sorry. I see. So you feel nothing for me anymore? You do not need to say anything, I understand. You're feeling a great deal of disgust towards me. No, or perhaps it is fear. Yes, you were always so kind. You would not easily allow yourself to succumb to hatred. I understand. Please forget everything I've said. Who are you? I'm but a simple maid, nothing more. Oh, fuck, that hurts. Laughable, isn't it? I no longer recognize Michel as anything more than a concept. Man or woman, elderly or infant, as long as they had white hair, red eyes, and the right name, they were you. I needed anything I could get. I was so desperate the thought never even crossed my mind that she was not you. What do you think, seeing me like this? That I'm helpless and hopeless? Listen to this, Morgana. Michel is back. She's finally come for me. But she does not remember anything, it seems. Not me, not her past, nothing. She saw me and was afraid, in fact. Are you listening to Morgana? Darling devoted Giselle. You poor, pitiful soul. This might have been quite harrowing. But don't worry, you still have me. Besides, this might not be your only chance. As long as you continue on, Michelle could appear before you again. You think she will remember me next time? I can't say, that's up to Michelle. You do have another option though. Forget Michelle yourself and seek out a new master. Someone who can be yours. Someone dedicated and faithful. Who needs you. Someone worthy of this mansion. Someone who needs me. That's right. Michelle didn't need you after all. It's alright, don't worry. You have plenty of time. Also, just imagine how this must have felt from Giselle's perspective. Oh, Jesus. It's raining again today. I kind of wonder what happened to him after he fled from the mansion. I suppose it doesn't matter much now to me, but just sorely watching him. It's such a dreadful story. It sounds like someone crying. I was at that point, completely out of my mind, broken. My smiles, frowns, and gasps had all been replaced with imitations. Shortly afterward, the flaxen-haired boy moved out of the house and went on to become a priest. The girl fell ill quite a few years later, her disease eventually taking her life. But the boy never once returned home. The Rhodes family crumbled. I couldn't bring myself to grieve with him, or to reflect on Hayden's sorrowful end. I simply waited for time to begin moving once more. Little remains to be said about my broken self, but as I stated before it began, this is the maid's tale. So I'd like to take this opportunity to elaborate on events I was unable to show you before. That is, if you can bear listening to such a dismal, miserable story. And then good old Yukimasa. I already told you my meeting with the beast, so I'll begin the second tale from here. After Bessie had slaughtered the merchant who showed up at the mansion, his mad laughter echoing through the halls. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear his screams? He said I was a monster. A mutilated body lay sprawled across the living room floor. As you can imagine, that was my first time ever seeing such a bloody, mangled corpse. I could not look directly at it, so I averted my eyes. Hey, you saw. I just proved that beasts are stronger than humans. Indeed you did. Ah, I know. I've got a great idea. You asked if I wanted to become the master, and I said I did. Which means you work for me, isn't that right? So you'll do whatever I tell you, won't you? What would you have me do? Chop up his arms and make stew out of them. Oh, and don't you hesitate to end up like him. Yes, master. He's trying to assert his total dominance over me. That's not proper behavior from the master. Although I am the one who offered him the role. Do it. He's an utterly mad beast. But am I really all that different? Oh, there's blood all over my hands. Sounds like someone's laughing. Is it him or is it her? No matter what happens, it won't affect me. The cocoon is not the real me. This isn't who I am. Somewhere deep inside me, that there's someone important. Someone worth loving. I was looking down at what can only be described as a pile of human debris. I had done this, but the fact that did not register with me. I felt nothing at all. Not regret, not anger. Not sorrow or despair. Put it on the fire. He said he'd trade in spices. That should give him a very unique flavor. How am I supposed to work with this? I was quite simply puzzled. No one had ever made such a request of me in my 100 years at the mountain. That's all I was, puzzled. But he interpreted it as hesitation or fear. So he grabbed me by the shoulders, knocking me to the floor, and skewered me with that curious blade of his. For the first few moments he wore the deranged grin of his, but as the seconds passed, it slowly transformed into shock. Not a drop of blood spilled from my breast, and the instant he realized it, I saw revulsion in his eyes. Him, of all people. A man who cackled as he slaughtered others was disgusted by a mere maid. It was absurd. So much so I almost wanted to cry. You... Is that all, Master? Are you not going to dismember me? You could try stabbing my face or my neck, or my stomach, or any other part of me. Maybe then I might die. Okay, now don't look at me like some exotic creature. Stop that. Quit that laughing. Why should I? My only distinctive feature is my smile. I have nothing else. My hands are covered in blood, but I can still smile. It's ridiculous. I get it now. You're the witch, aren't you? I see. Only monsters ever had a place here. Every so often I hear a woman's voice in my head. That's you, isn't it? You're the witch. Monster witch maid. What am I? Who is Giselle? Michel said she was spirited, true to herself, that she often laughed and cried and shouted. But I don't know anyone like that. I'm just a maid. Nothing more than a servant. The woman's voice he said he heard was probably the real witch's. But I had no interest in that. I almost would have preferred not having to think about anything at all. Nothing would cause me to waver if my head was empty. A world without joy or sorrow. Sounds quite wonderful. But nothing ever went the way I planned. For the white-haired girl whom I thought I would never see again appeared before me once more. I was quite nearly in a panic. Beneath my perfectly practiced smile was a veritable storm of emotions. Faint hope flared up within my shell. Perhaps this time, Michel would remember me, but that hope was unsurprisingly in vain. Is someone there? Yes, I came out to ask if there's anything you needed. I cannot offer you anything extravagant, not like before, but I'm here to provide you with anything in my capacity. I appreciate the offer, but I need nothing. Being allowed to stay the night is more than enough. Do you work here in the mansion? Yes, indeed, I do. I've been here for a very, very long time. A very long time? You might think this is an odd question, but have we met before? Something about you seems familiar. And I get the feeling I've been in this mansion before. Yes, we have met. It was quite some time ago, though. When was it? It was an unimaginably long time ago. Do you remember a boy and a girl with flaxen hair? Flaxen hair. I apologize. My memory fails me. Do you not remember me, either? I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember me. But I will not be so pushy this time. I could not bear to be so blatantly rejected again. I see. You should probably not push yourself to remember them. There were joyous times, there were less than joyous times. But would you be so kind as to answer one question? What might your name be? My name? My name is Michel. White hair, red eyes, and the name Michel. Why must you continue to bring me pain? Why can you not set me free as you were supposed to? I see, so you are Michel again. Again? You should get some rest. I will make tea for you in the morning. Also, go on, close your eyes. The white-haired girl lay so quietly in her bed, I could not tell whether she was asleep or awake. Even the sound of her breathing was too faint to hear. Standing over her, looking down at her, the locked-away despair and wails of lamentation I thought myself no longer capable of, came bubbling back to the surface. But can you honestly blame me? I've been waiting for Michel for so long. She was the only thing holding me up. She was the only thing keeping my broken self from falling apart completely. Yet she claimed not to remember me. Did you pity her, having to go through tragedy after tragedy? But every time she showed up, she said she did not know me, bringing me more and more grief. I've been waiting for hundreds of years. Waiting for her for so long, my mind slipping away with every passing day. Waiting and waiting and waiting. My apologies. I had to be careful or slip back to what I was then. If you weren't here holding my hand now, tell me, you are Michelle, aren't you? That's a relief to hear. Thank you, I'm alright. Do you think I'm as muddled as I feel? Let us return to the tale then. You don't know what it feels like, what I feel like. You don't know how much it hurts. For someone who you waited for so long for to say they don't know you. You have no idea how much it crushes me. Rather than feel like this anymore, maybe I should just end it all with my own hands. I reached my hand out toward her slender neck. I was not an especially strong woman, but I thought even I would be able to suffocate her with relative ease. She was blind at that, so she wouldn't be able to run. However, that was the one thing I could not bring myself to do. I can't do it. I ran and I ran and I ran. Though I knew I had nowhere to run, plunging myself into the mountain's darkness. I did not want to be there any longer. I did not want. But being a human inhabitant of the house, I could not close my eyes or plug my ears to what happened within its walls, as much as I may have wanted to. It didn't matter where I was. I had no say in the matter. I was forced to observe the events until their tragic conclusions. Twisted, bloody madness, the wretched wails creating a whirlwind of misery. When it was all over, Morgana cackled like a little girl. Oh, go on, you have a laugh too, my dear. Oh, there's nothing in the world better than this. He was a beast through and through. And what a fool he was to think he could become human. I love it. He destroyed everything he had with his own hands, and they could even manage to mourn for it. Oh, quite the unfortunate fate, wouldn't you say? Oh, God, laugh with me. Laugh with me, my darling, devoted Giselle. Michelle is dead too, though. You're worried about that tiny little detail? She'll show up again, of course, so you don't need to worry about a thing. You don't need to feel bad about any of this carnage. Rest easy, my darling, devoted Giselle. If you say so, then I shall not be concerned. Yes, that's good, laugh, my dear. I apologize for mistaking you, making you listen to my dreadful story for so long. You must be quite wary of them by now. But worry not, for this is the final one. And despite being the end, it is neither dramatic nor exciting. It was a single phrase, the most insignificant things, that caused me to completely lose myself and forget. I had long ago been the woman called Giselle. There was no malice in it. It was but a simple greeting. Do you remember how the first time she arrived? Michelle said I had a peculiar presence about me. She felt something there between us. And the second time she said something about me seemed familiar. She did not remember why, but her soul recognized the bonds we shared. So I assumed the next time she showed up, she would feel something even stronger. Or perhaps even have her memories. Despite having been let down again and again, I still held on to the faintest glimmer of hope. When she appeared, she was someone else's wife. Hey, headmaid. Get out of here. I'm right here, sir. Is there something the matter? I figured you should get to know her as soon as possible. Since you'll be spending a lot of time looking after her. Hey, get out of here. Christ, there's not a goddamn confident bone in your body, sir. I'm sorry, I'll be right out. Me? The first thing that she said when she saw me was, "It's a pleasure to meet you." It's a pleasure to meet you. What had I spent all this time waiting for? It was all for naught, it was all meaningless. In this era, she felt nothing at all for me. In retrospect, it makes enough sense. But for me, at the time, that was the end. Morgana, cast me out into the darkness. Make me a formless being like you. I don't want to be here another second. I don't want to look at her ever again. Morgana, please listen to me. I'm begging you. Now, what's the matter, my dear? It's not like you should throw a tantrum. Uh, Hello, Jupiter. We're winning as far as uh, you know, Michel and Giselle, almost getting their bright future, and then him horribly being impaled and murdered and then crucified, and then Michel making a deal with the witch and being stuck to live in solitude for hundreds of years, and then be forced to be accomplice in whatever scheme Morgana is doing in the previous three doors, and being forced horribly to see the white-haired girl arrive at each time period, and then not remember her despite everything, forgetting who she is and who Michelle really was either. It could be described as winning, maybe, from a certain point of view. Maybe. Oh dear God. I can't take it anymore. I can't do this. Michelle again. Oh, you poor thing. Betrayed 3 times now. Morgana. You pitiful girl. Don't groan like you're having a bad dream, my dear. I'm here for you. Please, Morgana. Erase me from existence. If you go away, then I will be all alone. And that would be absolutely dreadful. But I... Tell me, what torments you so, my dear? What? Michelle, who I'm waiting on for so long, doesn't... Oh, you poor thing. You spent so long riding the currents of time that you've lost sight of yourself. What? You've convinced yourself that someone else's story is your own. Someone else's? Yes, indeed. It was such a beautifully tragic tale you fell in love with it. It resonated so deeply with you that you felt their pain as if it were your own. What are you talking about? I wanted to tell you, my dear, but you were so convinced it actually happened to you, I couldn't bring myself to take it away. Then what about Michelle? She's not the one you were waiting for, and you're not hers either. Then what about Giselle? That's not your name. Then who am I? Who are you? That's a very silly question. You're this mansion's cursed witch. I'm the witch. That you are. You're both the maid and the witch. But how? Do you truly believe that someone who has eternal life, who doesn't believe when they're cut, and who can smile no matter what happened to her, isn't a witch? How much of this Giselle's memories do you actually possess, my dear? How clearly can you remember her life? You can't, can you? You don't know what kind of story Giselle and Michelle wove. Also, this level of sheer gaslighting from Morgana. Oh boy. Oh boy. And you wouldn't, because you were merely an onlooker. Much like you are now for this present tale. And by contrast, how much of the witch's story do you know? You should but know it very well. Yes, but that's because you... No, my telling to you is not the reason. The details are rooted deep within your memory. Then I'm... That's right, you're the cursed witch Morgana. But you... I am you. You split into two because you refused to accept who you were. Think about it. Have I ever shown myself to you? Have I ever shown myself to anybody? That's why. I'm the witch. I see, it all makes sense now. Everything's fallen into place. There's one thing I still don't understand though. The story I was so enamored with, Giselle and Michelle's story. What kind of story was it? I'd be glad to tell you. You look like you're ready to know the truth. I believed every word she said. All my worries melted away like they were nothing. By the way, Mosca, sorry, not Mosca. Say Jupiter. How are you enjoying this? Also while high, I guess. In fact, I found myself wishing for her to find happiness. I was an observer, watching and hoping for the best. The tragedy that befell her did sadden me, but I felt bad for her like I would a character in a story. Ah, the kistoscope. I brought you your medicine, Master. Thank you. Just set it down over there. Yes? What are you staring at? My apologies. I was simply musing about how much time has passed. I can hardly believe it's been 40 years since you were a bright young businessman. And you haven't aged a day. Why, thank you. I'm a witch after all. Well, I don't much care what you are. You could be the Grim Reaper for all I care. You still work harder than anyone else. May I ask you a question, Master? What is it? Why haven't you returned to your homeland? I thought it was a place quite dear to you. I can't wait for her back there. Do you still believe she will return? To a degree, I understand how difficult it can be to wait. Though for me, waiting now brings me more joy than pain. With your lifespan, Master, it'll be the pain that wins out. Perhaps you should consider letting go. Tell me, was her name really Michel? Why, yes, it most certainly was. But why would you ask such a thing? Have you forgotten your own wife's name? You've waited for so long that it would seem like me. Some part of you has begun to break down. You poor, poor man. You know, you look a whole lot more pitiful than me. Oh my! Oh, there you are! What has you in such flurry, my dear? You're a noble servant, you must maintain your composure at all times. But the master, what about him? He was found deceased in his chambers. The doctor just came out. He said it was his ailment. It would seem the master knew his time was short, for he left a will, asking not to be given a funeral. I see. I feel kind of bad for him, though. Not only did he not end him with such silent moments, he didn't want to be sent off at all. Isn't that sad? It's for the best. There's not a single soul in this world left who could send him off. With your era drawn to an end, this mansion will soon return to existing nowhere in this world. I wonder what the next one will look like. I wonder if misfortune will befall her once more. That would be quite regrettable. Perhaps if I could convince her of her tragic fate, she'd be willing to disappear from this realm with me. And if she wishes to fight that fate, perhaps she will become my next master. Calling her master seems inappropriate, but I cannot think of a word that fits better. I eagerly await the next era. Please do not keep me waiting for long, Master. Time pressed onward, and then at long last you arrived. Oh, splendid. You've finally awoken. I've simply waiting for so long for this moment. Tending the mansion all by my lonesome, ensuring it was ready for your return, Master, whenever that time may be. When I caught sight of you through the window, my heart fluttered. The time had finally arrived. Oh my, you do not know who I am. Do you not know who you are either? That's quite the predicament. Then how about this? I'm a servant in this mansion, as such, I am familiar with many incidents that have taken place here. I shall show you the history of this house, Master. Let us be off then. And fear not, I merely entreat you not to let go of my hand. Should you hold it tightly, you need not worry about being washed away by the waves of history. No matter what happens, you mustn't let go of my hand. No matter what happens, no matter what you see, never again let go of this hand. That is everything. I prepared for a number of things to say when she was finished with her tale, but I can't manage to put any of them into words. I almost hate myself for thinking it would be so easy, for letting myself hope I could simply pull her back to her old self, accept whatever had happened to her. Take her hand in mine and that would solve everything. The truth is so much worse than I imagined. So much worse. So much more harrowing. She was subject not to her own terrible fate, but every single one of this house's tragedies. The tale she told me are things she witnessed with her own eyes. How can I possibly blame her for forgetting me? For forgetting herself? After so many hundreds of years? No, I should be... Why? Why didn't you come for me? Why couldn't I return before she was so far gone? Why did you show up now? Giselle. Because you opened the door to my memories, I now remember everything. But I didn't want to remember. I didn't want to be reminded of all those empty years. Of all the people who passed on leaving me behind. Of you who refused to show up no matter how much I begged. I'm not the Giselle you knew anymore. I may have my memories, but I cannot go back to that time. My hands are stained with blood, my soul worn thin. The girl who would have laughed at the simplest things, who would tell silly jokes and wasn't afraid to put mine, she doesn't exist anymore. That Giselle's dead. How can you say I'm the same girl? How can you say I feel the same way I did? How can you be sure that even now, I still love you? Can you deny the possibility that I no longer yearn for you? But the white hair girl? Can you deny the possibility that my love for you has transformed into hate? She brings her hands up toward my throat, and I make no attempt to move out of her way. When her fingers brush against my skin, they feel frigid as death itself, far colder than anything I've felt from her thus far. If she were to wrap her hands around my neck, she wouldn't even have to squeeze to stop me from breathing. This is the fork in our road. One word will decide everything. I don't have much time. I have to say something before the cold robs me of my voice. Of course I'll deny it. While I was floating in the darkness, I heard a voice. Regrettably, it took me far too long to realize that it was your voice crying for help, calling for me. You may have lost your hold on your old self, but somewhere deep down, you kept calling for me, which is how I found my way here. I refuse to believe that isn't real. I refuse to stomp on a love that survived for hundreds of years. By all means, hate me. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I don't care if you spit bomb on me for the rest of eternity. I will not let go of this hand, because you asked me not to. I could kill you right now. If that's what you want, then go ahead, right ahead. But I'll fight you with all I've got. Giselle, I've missed you too much to lose you again. I don't care if it makes you despise me. I don't care if you think I'm being inconsiderate. I want to save you. But I'm not the Giselle you once knew. I'm an abomination. My mind and body are twisted beyond recognition. I'm a disgusting monster. The woman you fell in love with does not exist anymore. So just forget about me. You are the one who should be saved, set free from me. You look the same to me. Your manner of speaking, your temperament, your physical appearance may have all changed, but you're still the same Giselle I love. You should have never done anything for foolish girl like me. You gave your life to save me, and I hated you for that. I never once considered how you felt with those knights pointing their blades at you, or what drove you to allow me to live. I should have, but I didn't. I was the one who trusted the witch, and yet I complained when you never showed up. I unfairly resented you for it. I'm a horribly self-centered person. You should be so much better off with someone pure and unburdened with all this nasty suspicion and doubt and animosity. You would be so much happier with someone like her. Giselle, you've been paying attention, haven't you? You were there for all the tales I told you, for everything that has happened to me up to this moment. You should know how loathsome a woman I am. 2 weeks to even keep herself together. No, Giselle, I'm nothing compared to her. Giselle, that idealized person, the white-haired girl, the person who's too perfect to be a real human being. See, you haven't changed one bit. You still get louder and louder the more you lose your temper. Why do you feel the need to compare yourself to her? Because she's a better match for you. Giselle, I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting. And I want you to believe me when I say that I dearly miss you from the bottom of my heart. I wanted you back, and that has not changed. Believe in me. I love you. I miss you so much too. She leaps into my arm, and she's just as cold as ever. Her warmth-deprived body feels like the embodiment of all my mistakes. I wrap my arms around her, and am immediately filled with an unparalleled relief. Even as she sobs into my chest, her body cold as ice, and then the darkness parts. We are once more at the top of the observation tower. It is still shrouded in miles of shadows, but we're back in the mansion now. We have emerged from the darkness in our heart. Michel? Yes. I'm sorry. For what? I never should have erased you from my memories. Yours are the memories I need to hold on to the tightest. I was so glad to hear you say you still love me, even after learning the truth about it. Thank you so much. I'm incredibly relieved. As I watched, it felt like you were slipping farther and further away from me, Giselle. It terrified me. Maybe it makes me a coward or pitiful, but I was truly afraid of you coming to hate me. I would never hate you, Michel. Never. Thank you. We must leave this place. What? It would not be wise for us to remain here long. The air is still thick with darkness. But the front door won't open, and even if we could get out from someone, what would happen to us? We finally found each other again after so long. I want to share a quiet, modest life with you like before. What if that all disappears when we step outside? After all, we are... She doesn't finish, but I feel like I know what she was going to say. We're different now. She's stepped far outside the bounds of mortality, and the same could be said of me. I am the man known as Michel is, long since dead. The mansion itself does not follow the rules of nature either. As beings no longer in possession of their proper forms, stepping outside these walls could very well mean the end of it. I can't say what may lay in store, but we must return. Even though by staying here, we could be together for all time, I don't imagine that would be a very happy life. There's no sun here, no chirping birds, no trees or breeze to rustle leaves. If we stay here, the nothingness will eat away at us. We finally retained our old selves. We need to take action now while we can. What if I say I want to stay here? Then I'll drag you out. It's almost like we've switched places. Back then it was you who wanted to stay. It was also kind of funny hearing you speak favorably outside, and especially this sun. The words, "That's all thanks to you," are on my lips, but before I can say them, I find myself hypnotized by her smile. That smile has picked me up so many times. She claims it's her only redeeming feature, but if she didn't have it, my life would have gone in a very different direction. I'm grateful to have gotten that back to you. Say, we're in the middle of a very, touching reunion. What did you say? I suppose so, yes. Wouldn't you say there's a certain way these things used to go? Huh? Are you really gonna make me say that? I was, hoping you might perhaps kiss me? What? What? Oh, seriously, what? Where did all that boldness from a second ago just go? What happened to all the momentum you were building? Yeah, about that. I think that might be more appropriate, later? Later? How much later? After we find an exit? We're, in a hurry? You're just making excuses because you don't want to. I swear that's not it. Oh. Giselle, let's save that for when things aren't as crazy. I can't relax and enjoy it now. What are you, 12? Oh, hush. Alright, fine. But you better keep your word, got it? Promise. Let's go then. Let's find our way out of the mansion. There, our frozen time should begin moving again. That's hopefully where our future awaits. It will be. No, we'll make it so. Yes, we will. If we leave the mansion, it should release our souls as well. And in doing so, should finally provide her deliverance. So I mustn't hesitate. To end all this for both of us when we start again. This is where we... What? Darkness. It's a blackness purer than anything I've experienced in this house. Not a trace of light anywhere to be found. Why did I ever think the house would let us go so easily? Why did I ever think our time in the darkness was over? Michel! The darkness surges through the open door like a wave, flooding the observation tower, like ivy growing wildly to cover every last inch of every surface. Consuming, defiling, eroding. Our fingers slip apart, and concentrated rancor rains down upon us. Ah, how hideous a world this is. Ah, no, Michelle! Please, please! Also, once again, the fucking music. Oh, Jesus. Don't let go of my hand. Giselle! Michelle! I said I would never let go of her. I said I would get her out of this place. I swore I would, but as hard as I try to stretch, I can't reach her hand. Oh, Michelle! I can't move! I went out of my way to give you a beautiful tragedy. So why must you so stubbornly insist on this ugliness? The more you struggle, my dears, the thicker and more palpable your filthiness becomes. Ah, it's sickening. Wouldn't you agree? She always spat her bile with a song-like cadence. Singing like a little girl, chirping like a morning bird. She celebrates misery, and she watches for the worst possible moment to let out a cackle. Morgana! I swear, you two are hopeless. I pity you. I give you my deepest condolences. Let go. Let me go. Don't take me away from her. Giselle! The darkness seeping into her grew thicker by the moment, and his black tendrils went just wrapping around her, but me as well. Stop this, Morgana. Let her go. Ah, wow, nothing more original. I need a devoted puppet to protect this mansion from her. So I can't give her up, not even at your request. Besides, why should I give back something you threw away? Something you abandoned again and again? What are you talking about? You still haven't figured out, my dear? Or are you just feigning ignorance for your own convenience? You always did like to withhold anything that might prove disadvantageous. Michelle. Giselle, give me your hand. Reach harder. Reach as hard as you can. Grab my hand. I can't do it. It's like I'm tied up. I can't move at all. She's right there. She waited so many hundreds of years for me. Finally managed to reclaim herself. She's right there. And why can't my hand go any further? Why can't I reach her wrist, her hand, or even a strand of her flowing hair? Why can't I get her back again? Michelle! Her voice is growing fainter, more distant. The darkness shrouds her, taking away from me. Her arms, her fingers, the hand she led me with. Her smiling face, her once glowing grin, her now more modest smile. The witch's darkness is stealing every last bit of her. Michelle. Oh. Stop, please don't do this. Take me instead of her. Why does it have to be her? Why her? Morgana! Why? Because your work is done, my dear. By all accounts, as the one who resurrected me, you should have become my guide as well. But you let a silly woman emotionally manipulate you, and you gave up on cursing others. And then you threw away your own life. Deluded into thinking you were protecting her. Morgana! Morgana, you already gave up the position once. Don't you think you can just walk up and ask for it back? Set her, set yourself free. I'll do anything you ask. If you need a puppet, I'll be your puppet. If you want more from me, it's yours for the taking. But I can't leave her to remain in this cursed house any longer. You certainly have let your obsession for this girl take its toll on you. I much prefer the old, pessimistic, cynical Michelle. It wasn't until I met Giselle that I truly became human. She made me into what I'm supposed to be. I can't lose her again. Is that so? Well, you'll come to the harsh realization soon enough that everything you saw in her was just a facade. It was not. Alright then. If you want her back so badly, you can have her. But in exchange, I want you to entertain me. Will you endure maddening agony for me? Will you know pain enough to make you howl? Will you face despair? Again and again and again. If you need her that badly, you can bear anything, can't you? If that is what you want from me. If that will allow her to see the sun once more. Alright, brilliant. Wait, Morgana. Morgana! As you wish, foolish boy. I was looking forward to keep you busy now anyway. So I'll use it to kill some time. Find your way to me, my dear. Find your way to me without going mad or succumbing to despair. And do hurry. Or she might lose her mind again. Those memories you were forced her to relive. Those hundreds of years she spent locked away in herself. All that fear that awaited her. It's a bit much to have to reflect on with a clear mind, wouldn't you say? That's why I need to be there for her. Why I have to get her out of there. That's my obligation to her. You're the one who let her go of her hand, though. You can put a broken cup back together, but the slightest tap in the wrong place will shatter it again. Morgana! That witch's cackling fades into the distance. My outstretched hand is completely enveloped in shadows. I can't even make out the faintest outline of it. And I can't tell if I'm sinking, floating, being pushed along some invisible stream, or falling with incredible speed. My eyes are open, but they can't detect anything. The complete lack of sound is almost painful. Nothing, anything, anywhere. Void. My consciousness begins to drift. Vague remnants of the feelings of a hand in mine are the only link to reality. My one and only landmark. Giselle. I must get her back. She waited and endured for hundreds, no, almost 1,000 years. And now it's my turn to act. I have to hold that resolve. Hold it firm, so that I never forget her again. So that I never lose myself again, even if I'm consumed by the darkness. You must never back down. You must never look away. You must never lose her. The House in Fata Morgana. The story behind the story. Hey, Master. Hello. Anyone in there? Master. Oh, good. Welcome back. What's gone into you? I thought you had fallen asleep with your eyes open. I'm not accustomed to people needing my attention. Or I suppose talking face to face at all. This is my match. Giselle right in front of me. Smiling like she always did. Smiling for me. You're not hurt. Giselle? You have been alone for 10 years. But now I'm living here with you. So what do you say we do a little practice conversation? Practice conversation? What exactly do you think I am? Yeah. No offense intended. Just thought it'd be nice if you had more back and forth skills. So in short, you're saying it's such a pro conversation unless I need training. Hey, don't get so snippy. That's not what I meant. I'm saying we don't talk enough and I want to talk to you more. It's fun. This is an old memory from when Giselle first returned to the mansion, and we were just starting our new life together, and we were still feeling around in the dark. What exactly would you like to talk about then? Like, each other, of course. I have nothing to say. Oh, now, let's not be rash. It can't be anything. Things you like, things you don't like. Start with something small, insignificant. Does that serve any purpose? It does, yes. The more you know about someone, the closer you feel to them, and the better friends you can become. Is that how it works? Now that's not the way. Ask me something. Ask me anything, I'll gladly answer. Her eyes are lit up like a child's. Is she really so eager to converse with me? I don't believe it. What's the matter? I'm ready for anything. Very well, I'll ask whatever comes to mind. Go for it. You haven't told me. Ooh, big decisions. Also, I'm sorry everyone, I think I'm probably done for the night. So, thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed reading more of, the House in Fata Morgana. as we experienced a lot this stream. If there's anything you want to talk about, always we can spend some time here. Yeah, this story is so important and hits in so many ways. It's something truly fantastic. Yeah, I love both Giselle and Michel. They're yeah. This story feels a lot like really melodramatic literature, where it's like there's also a sense of Americana, like Curse Mansion as well. It's there's a lot of stuff piling together to put on it. There's the historical fiction aspects with just there's a level of grounding there that just makes everything else work. It's playing together with a lot of interesting things, and it's layered. And the single most important thing is just how genuine the emotions of these characters are, and what they feel, and what they've been through, and how they're working everything out together. It's there's a reason why this is one of my favorites of all time. Anyway, I think I'm gonna send you off to Lukewarm Holiday, otherwise known as Holly, who is playing Gundam, Mbon, mobile Maxi Boost on, and which is a really fun like 2v2 arena fighter. So check that out. I would definitely stay for that because she's really cool and she plays the cool games and it's probably a fun time. Anyway, thank you all and have a good night. Thanks for reading this together with me.